Hello, welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you happen to be listening right now on iTunes, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. I will be reading the best reviews every week, so long as they are 5 stars. I'm so excited, guys, to have some. I finally have my merch game going. Like, I don't mean to brag, but it's pretty sweet. I got these Mayor shirts that are now for sale on T Public. In addition to Make America Great Again shirts and these terrific mugs right here. That's right. You can drink out of my little face every day if you want. Just go to T Public and check those out. I'll put the link in the description. I'm so excited to be doing stand-up. I'm going to be in Connecticut this weekend, this Friday, October 29th. I'll be at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. 2 shows, 7:30 and 9:30. Come on out to that. And if you're in New Jersey, I'll be at Tiff's in Morris Plains, the Dojo of Comedy, Saturday, November 6th. That's in Morris Plains, New Jersey. One show at 9 o'clock. For tickets, go to my website, chrissiemayr.com, or you can go to the venues websites as well. Working on a couple of dates. I'm going to be with Comedians of the Compound in Albany towards the end of January. Then we'll be out on Long Island at Governor's. Late February, working on something in Miami, Austin, Savannah, Georgia. I'm working on a little something. So it's good. It's good to be busy. It's good to perform places that don't mandate the experimental medicine, if that's what we're calling it. So yeah, this is great. I want to do a little quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. They've helped me so much with my anxiety over the last year and a half. And I think it could help you too. If it's something that you have been struggling with, Cushy Dreams, they are experts in high quality CBD. You can basically get all the benefits of marijuana without getting high. It's just CBD. You're not going to get high from it. So they have different indica sativa blends, like Hustle, Relax, Create, Dream, Peace, Energy. So if you want to be a little more awake, you go for like an energy, or if you want to be a little more calm before bed, do a dream. They sell these cute little 5-packs, which I am a huge fan of. They fit right into your purse or your pocket. Very portable, very cute. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. Go to cushydreams.com. That's cushy with a K. And at checkout, use promo code CMP to get 20% off your whole order plus free shipping. Oh my God, why would you not do this? I'm just a big fan of their stuff. Okay, I'm so excited to have this gal back on the pod, and it's actually pretty awesome. There's a lot of hot topics, a lot of topical stuff for us to talk about. She's been on the pod before. I got a big crush on her, so she's back again today. She is a documentary filmmaker and just a great follow on Twitter, and just a smart gal and an overall just great person. Lauren Southern, how are you?
Hey, I'm well. Thanks for having me. This is actually a good therapeutic break for me because I just spent the last half hour arguing with people on Instagram. A terrible idea.
Isn't that the best? Isn't it? So you always say well, today I'm going to be better than that. Today I'm not going to fight with anybody on Twitter or Instagram. And then they get you.
And it'll literally be someone with 0 followers, no profile photo. It could be a crackhead down the street and you don't have time for it. You should be doing work, but they'll get you. They know what to do.
Yeah.
These crackheads arguing with me need to work in marketing. It's incredible how they can get my attention.
It's always someone with 17 followers. It's always somebody saying, "Who the hell are you?" And then you check their profile, and it's like half an egg, and they're like
not even a full Twitter egg, a half a Twitter egg.
Yeah. This is so interesting and timely. And you said you were letting off some steam today because you were upset about the Alec Baldwin controversy, I guess. And this all happened this weekend. I've been talking about it. I was in Nashville. I was at it's called the Truth About Cancer Live. It was a medical freedom convention. And this is so funny to say this sentence, but my buddy Kristen Davis, who also works with Roger Stone, was like, "Hey, come do a media booth." I'm like, "I've never done a media booth. I do podcasts. I tell dick jokes
you were
on stage."
A booth babe?
Yeah, now I'm a booth babe. I had to get a banner made. But the point is, not to just drop all these names for no reason, but I was talking to like Roger Stone's bodyguard, and he was, and as well as Mike Smith, who created Out of Shadows, and they both were just going on and on about like, yeah, this is real fishy. So many checks have to be done by so many people. The gun has to be handled and looked over by. There's so many steps that have to happen before an actor actually picks one up. So it sounds like maybe might be something a little squirrely going on here. And then I've heard whispers that like the cinematographer that was killed, like her husband was like working at the law firm that's like going against the Clintons, but I haven't looked. I need to look more into that. That's what I've been hearing.
We're going into serious conspiracy land. Yeah, no, I've had friends that have worked on sets as well. Obviously, there's like a ton of filming in Vancouver. And they're all like, nah, there are 4 to 5 people that check a live, well, not a live gun, an actual gun that is being used as a prop. 4 to 5 people that check it. All these protocols in place. Just insane that all of these things failed. Now, if we want to go into real conspiracy land, gotta love that. The assistant director, David Halls, was on another set, Freedom something in 2019, where the same thing happened. There was like an accidental discharge, something that happened with the gun. And it hit one of the sound crew and he was injured, had to go to the hospital. And this is like just rarely happens in Hollywood in general. So David Halls was fired immediately from that set, which should have happened on Baldwin's production of Rust the first time there were these issues with the gun, because there were 2, they say misfires in the media, but I think they mean accidental discharge. All of the terminology for guns in the media right now is completely wrong. They're getting it all wrong, but everyone should have been fired that was in charge of that immediately then.
Really?
Yeah, so that didn't happen. So now if we want to go real conspiracy, I was watching a true crime podcast the other day about a nurse who would kind of get a kick out of patients almost dying and then saving their life, but not enough people were coming in and actually dying. So he was injecting them and giving them medicine that forced them to go into like asphyxiation and not be able to breathe so he could save their life. And everyone would think he was the hero. And that just like was what he got his kick from. So I'm like, maybe this director, David Halls, gets a kick from putting live ammunition in guns and seeing what happens.
Wow.
That's horrible. Don't sue me. That is total conspiracy land. But like, how does that happen 3 times or 4 times? How does that happen in 2019 to you? Twice on this Rust set already, and then a 3rd time. Like,
I didn't know that this was the second time this has happened on this Rust set with Alec Baldwin.
Which is like, so like, you think about that. You've already had 2 issues with the gun. Do you then just carelessly fire that gun, point it wherever you want without double checking? It would be one thing to say, you know, I have had a 100% clear record, no bad experiences with this armorer, no bad experiences on this set or in my career. So I wasn't even thinking. And that was actually my initial assumption, that Baldwin had never had an issue like that. So he's like, yeah, just point the gun, no worries. And then I looked into it more and I was like, no, there were so many red flags here. In fact, the first armorer asked to work on the Rust set said no to them because before they had even started filming, he said he could see red flags. They didn't want him to have an assistant. They wanted to cut budget on that. So I don't know.
I like how you say flags.
I know. I knew that. That like literally ticked in my brain.
It's so
I was like,
cute.
She's gonna make fun of.
Would it? No, I think it's so cute. Is that a Canadian tick?
It is. Flags, bags, drag. Like, how do you say it? Say flag.
Flag. Well, now, okay. Yeah,
now you're saying it
pledge
like
allegiance to the flag. Yeah, I say it flag, like a flat A.
I hear someone people say like flag.
It's Fashion Week. We have lots of flags.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's very cute. That's so interesting. I just find with a lot of these leftists, they're so they think they're so purist and high and moral and I can't even go near a gun. I can't even look at a gun. And then it's like, yeah, I don't know, anybody who's an actor, like, yeah, sorry, you should be familiar with it. Like everyone should practice gun safety, because I was so that way. Like I never voted for Hillary. I was like a sneeze away. But like I like if I roll it back to a few years, like me and my sister were both like hardcore Democrats, like living in Long Island. She's a teacher. We're both so anti-gun. And it's like I didn't know anything about it. But once I started like going to the gun range and then like you're friends with people who have them, and it's like you just it's this automatic respect. Anyone who's been to a gun range knows it's like it is no joke. It's like, and I'm a comedian, I make jokes everywhere I go. There is no joking on the gun range. It is like super serious focus, like everyone's doing surgery, like you it's very, and it's I don't know, I've never met
Yeah.
there's just the more respect and seriousness around guns than anybody else. And then it feels like so many people on the left are just like they don't know anything about them, but they feel so confident speaking about them. And I've heard a lot of people, like, you know, especially in the media, like they get it wrong, like just when they describe them, the way they talk about different types of guns and ammo, and they don't know what the difference between like magazines or bump stocks are or whatever. I mean, I'm not an expert either, but you know, if you're supposed to be
Well, even
reporting about a
like
thing.
the very simple thing, like calling it a prop gun in the media, yes, technically a real gun can be a prop gun if it's used as a prop. So all of these people, I swear, I see thousands of people commenting on this every day that are like, I just don't understand how a prop gun could fire. Clearly, Alec Baldwin was given a real gun when he should have been given a prop gun. And it's like,
Oops.
no.
They
Yeah.
must have had them next to each other. Whoopsie
Yeah,
doops.
no, it's so like people don't even know literally the most basic fact that no, the prop gun the media are talking about was a real gun, and they were only using real guns on the set. Everyone knew they were real guns. Alec knew it was a real gun, and the location manager from Rust and other Rust crew members have come out publicly and stated, actually within our own set protocol, the actor has to check the gun. So there are 4 people. First one is obviously the armorer. Second is the assistant director. Third, they show it to the hand grip, which is the person who is holding the camera. And this is like protocol for if they are going to point the gun towards or near the camera. They
Okay.
usually use movie magic and point it like to the side of the camera, so it's not actually pointed at anyone. So they show the person behind the camera, and then the actor checks, and they all make sure there's nothing in it, not going to hurt anybody. So first 2 failed, obviously, assistant director, armorer. They didn't show the grip hand, which would have been Helena Hutchins. She was behind the camera, right? And then Baldwin didn't check. So all four. How does that happen? How does that, like, I'm mind boggled.
Yeah, I've heard people say like, well, why wasn't it accidentally fired at the camera? Why would it be fired at her? Why wouldn't it have been accidentally fired at like a fellow actor? Like, you know, and then I read it, I think it was Michael Malice's thread. It's that he may have been joking around, like, oh, you want me to do this take again? I'm gonna fire it at you. Like that supposedly happened just before it went
The
down.
Yeah, the little information that's coming out here and there. That one I haven't seen. I've seen it as like a rumor. I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere. One thing that TMZ did report, and they've reported it as fact, and I would be surprised if they did that without anything behind it. They said that the guns were being used for like kicks and giggles, can shooting offset with real ammo, which, like,
Okay.
to me, if that was being allowed to happen on the site and people knew about it and they proved that, which would make sense why real ammo was being mixed up in things, uh, there is going to be like some serious legal repercussions for everyone involved in that, including obviously Baldwin because he was the producer. Everyone that touched that gun and everyone that knew about that offset shooting and real ammo being mixed into
Ooh.
things is going to be in trouble for sure, in my opinion.
Interesting. Mikey Gusler, good evening. Does Lauren know that Adam and Sitch with guests Mueller and Rags, I don't even know who all these people are, defended her during her serfs debate? They were impressed by how you handled the debate and bringing facts to the table.
I have seen their channel before, and I think we should have a chat sometime. Adam and Sitch, they seem cool.
Ooh, from
Yeah.
Brian S. Glad to see Southern back. The way you have been treated by the left is beyond ridiculous. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, they're not too nice to me. They're not that friendly. I try. I try to be nice. I really do. I do
How
my
could anyone? I feel like Jerry Seinfeld's mother. How could anyone not like you? Like, you're so pretty. You have pink headphones. What's there not to like? So your
best.
documentary Crossfire, which it came out
At the beginning of the
20.
year, this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, featured Jack Posobiec, Elijah Schaefer, Mike Cernovich, and you did it with Scooter Downey. The two of you produced it.
Very talented man, yeah.
Very talented man. Talks about the event in Kenosha with Kyle Rittenhouse, which obviously is very much being talked about right now. The trial kicks off November 1st, which is Monday. That's just
lots
days
of gun
away.
chat going on here. Lots of gun talk.
Yeah, this is the this is the gun episode. Jinx. I wish maybe if I should have done more push-ups in preparation. Everyone is up in arms because the judge
Wait,
ruled...
no, guns are what stop you from having to do push-ups.
Oh, right.
It's the great equalizer. I can eat literally chocolate bars for a whole year and not work out and win
I could either go to the range or have to get in sick shape. And one takes a lot more time. So everyone's talking about how the judge for his case spoke out by saying that the angry mob that came after Kyle, they cannot be called victims because that's too loaded of a word. But sure, you can refer to them by the things they were doing, which was rioting, being arsonists and looters. And of course, Twitter is losing their shit. Leftist Twitter is losing their shit. And your documentary, I mean, delves into this. Have your feelings or thoughts on anything changed since putting this out?
First of all, can we say based judge here? That's like
based.
So rare to get reasonable judges these days. I really wish I had this judge. I just had a big case with Patreon and my judge was so incredibly biased, but it was in California, so that was a given. Where's this case taking place again? I assume because I know he was like crossing county lines, right? And stuff. Everyone mentioned that.
Is a excellent question. Maybe somebody in the chat can figure that out. I'm going to play this little snippet from the judge because it's interesting to actually hear the guy's voice.
Okay, Kenosha County Circuit Court.
Okay.
And I think the word victim is a loaded word. And I think alleged victim is a cousin to it. Let the evidence show what the evidence shows, and if the evidence shows that any or more than one of these people were engaging in arson, rioting, or looting, then I'm not going to tell the defense they can't call them that.
So he's not even like encouraging. I mean, of course, like leftist Twitter makes it sound like this judge is encouraging people to call them looters, rioters, arsonists.
So this is... I spent a lot of time delving into what judges are actually allowed to do after my case because my he was an arbitrator since it was at a private court, but he called me alt-right in one of his judgments, which is not supposed to be allowed. So if you can like sway the court's opinion or people's opinion or bring up things in people's past that are not relevant to the actual case, you can't do that. So I can't go into a courtroom as a judge that's supposed to be neutral and be like, the slut Kathy accuses John of raping her. Like
Kathy's like that was one time in college. Come on.
Yeah, you can't use these so you can't calling me alt-right. It was completely irrelevant to whether there was a contract breach in this case against Patreon. So when it comes to words like rioting, looting, etc., those words are actually like descriptive words of what they were actually doing during the events around this case that they're discussing. So that seems reasonable. Now, the word victim does imply that there was an aggressor, an attacker, which is what the case is going to decide. So of course they can't call people victims before they've decided whether Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense or as an aggressor. So that's like actually completely within his job, what he's supposed to do, what he's supposed to say. And thank goodness the justice system is working as it should. No, we haven't decided. The case hasn't happened. We don't know who the victim here was yet. And these leftists are jumping up and down because they're so used to these damn biased judges just deciding that they're right before any actual facts have been put on the table.
Yeah. Do you agree with this Charlie Stevenson comment here? He's instructing the defense attorney. So he's just kind of, it sounds like maybe just laying the groundwork or prepping. Yeah.
You can't. We have to describe them as victims. No, that's what we're talking about. Were they victims or was Kyle Rittenhouse the victim being attacked that defended himself? Of course, you can't say like the guilty Kyle Rittenhouse, the victim. Like what?
Yeah. This was I don't know if you guys have, this was amazing, by the way, and I wish I had watched this whole documentary before doing this episode, because it's like I've
How
watched,
could you? You didn't do your research.
I am a
Pathetic.
real jackhole. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. No, I
You were
watched,
too busy with your Kush sponsor, I assume.
oh my God, yeah, I was too busy smoking my sponsors. So okay, let's see here. This is from Scooter. Okay, this, I mean, I was like, when did you guys make this? When was this? When did you film
We
this?
had it filmed during all of the chaos. So I called
Wow.
Scooter up and I was like, hey, can I fly you into a riot? And he was like, yeah, man, I'm up for it.
How do you know Scooter? What has he worked on, or how did you meet him?
I feel like, oh, right. I met Scooter when I was filming with Hoaxed, Mike Cernovich's film Hoaxed.
Okay.
So I had a segment in there.
Okay, so here is, if you guys haven't seen any of the Kyle Rittenhouse sort of footage, this is probably like the main clip. So you see him like on the ground there. Again, these people are charging at him over and over. One kid tried to hit him with a
Kyle
skateboard.
Rittenhouse's attorneys issued a lengthy statement claiming he acted in self-defense in fear his life was in imminent danger.
I think what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse is very tragic. I think it's very sad to see that kind of breakdown in our political structure, in our governance, where it comes to the point that,
have you ever seen Jack Posobiec
17-year-old
without his
kid
sunglasses?
Feels that it's his
They're actually attached to his head.
to stand up for a
Can't take them
community
off.
that's being burned, that's being attacked, because it doesn't seem like anybody else cares.
This is so well
But someone
done.
is supposed to care, and that someone is the government.
People are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way.
Kyle
He's so
Rittenhouse was
adorable.
actually with a much
He's so
larger
adorable,
group of
and
people
like
that were
just from that
defending,
small
I
clip,
think it was
I'm like,
gas
oh wow,
stations
he's a very
down the
he's
street
mature beyond his
that
years.
These mob of sort of BLM and anarchists were attempting to burn down.
They wanted to blow up a gas station. Holy shit! What are you doing?
So they're pushing a dumpster of literally on fire towards this gas station. They're literally like, what's
because they were all
gonna
there,
bring the most massive, explosion, mess,
Yeah.
chaos, blow up a gas station?
Just genius actions by these people. Sorry. Yeah. When you were like, this is so well done. I felt like a little kid, like showing my mom the assignment I made at school. I was like, oh, thank you.
Dude, this is an understatement, and you're so good. I'm like, why isn't she doing voiceovers for everything? Like, why aren't you voicing Disney characters? Like, really, I'm gonna just play the rest of this because it's so good.
Prevented the attack from happening.
And this made people mad. Specifically, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first victim of the Rittenhouse shooting.
So this is the first guy that was shot.
Yeah, he was angry. He was upset.
But what the mob said was, don't worry about it. Let's go target the other place down at the other end of the street.
I saw
So
a few
another
of the
gas
BLM
station.
rioters heading a group
Or another business.
out towards the darkness because the streetlights had all been destroyed.
So Kyle Rittenhouse starts running down, thinking that he's going to protect the burning from taking place at this place that ended up being called Car Source.
And they are destroying like what appeared to be like a car shop.
Pause this for a minute. So I believe this is the location. We interviewed a car shop owner for this. I had Scooter interview them. And he was like, immigrant to the country, brown guy, just making his living, building up his small business. He's like, I'm going to come here, American dream kind of thing. And all these Antifa, we love minorities people just burned all of his cars. Like, dude is literally broken inside. So that's,
Wow.
and you have Kyle Rittenhouse sitting here with a very reasonable thought, in a world where the police aren't doing anything about these riots, I have to stand up and protect my community. And how freaking sad is it that it's a 17-year-old kid saying, this is my responsibility because no one else is doing it? Quite frankly, all of the adults, everyone that is way older than Kyle Rittenhouse that is in that community should be out shutting down those protests. I get it. I know there's threats. The police will arrest you, charge you for stopping crime. It's bizarre at the moment, but man, it is sad to think Kyle Rittenhouse felt this was his responsibility and he was one of the only ones out there. That is a sign of a broken nation to me when your 17-year-olds are doing that alone.
It reminds me of like when you have like a little kid and like not to any extreme degree, but like I very much as a little kid felt like I had to take care of like my mother's emotions because like she and my dad would fight, and then I'd be like, oh, it's kind of my job to make sure she is feeling good again and happy and laughing and forgetting. And then so like over the years, I felt like responsible for her well-being. So it was kind of like it becomes like a parent-child sort of role reversal or whatever, or you're just taking on responsibilities before your time. And like, yeah, like what does it say? I mean, what do the adults around Kyle feel about this? That this, who, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't like a dad or a Chad in his life that was like, oh, you're 17. Like, I'm going to go with you. You're going to protect this business. Like, I'm not going to let you go out there alone.
Like, and you grow up as a kid so often reading all these books that's like, stealing, looting, destroying a city, that is wrong, that is evil. And when you see evil, you stand up for it. And I know 17 isn't that young, but still, like you internalize those messages, and good, as you should. And he responded to all of the good messages in his head that he would have been told by any moral lesson he got in school, from reading, from his parents. And that it's resulted in this. I really hope that he is let go and left to live his life, because that I think Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. I think he did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah, at no point, like in any of the videos I've seen, does it look like he is charging towards anyone. He's not instigating. He's not somebody who we all see people like that. You look at them, you go, okay, this person is wanting to fight so bad. They're angry. They're lost. A lot of people, I think, who come to any sort of like protest, but I think especially with like Antifa and BLM, they come angry, like the culmination of their life's anger, and they bring it to these protests, and they want to hit or hit someone or get hit, just because especially with like men, it's such a like and women too, but like a lot of times you just need a physical release that like if you had gone and worked out that day, like you would have been in a healthier position.
And I feel like these people, if they just went there. Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, how you have all these pictures of lawmakers bending on a knee with the masks on and the BLM fist up, and you have all of the big banks, all of the big businesses with the BLM sign up. And I'm like, who are you protesting against? What change are you protesting for? All of these people agree with you. Like, can you imagine if during like the fight for civil rights or to end slavery or something, all of the lawmakers were like, oh my gosh, yes, queen, we have literally ended it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like what actual civil rights fight in history has been like this, where everyone is just like, yeah, BLM with you. So to me, what you're saying there, like that desire for chaos and that desire to just like have somewhere to let it out on civilization
like,
around
you need
them.
purpose. You need, like, you don't know what else to do. You don't know where to channel your energy in life. So like, I need to just fight. I need to kick someone's ass to feel like I've done something with my day.
So funny because they always look at right wingers and they're like, you guys are so violent. You like guns. You like boxing and sports. It's disgusting. And it's like, well, at least we take out our violence in a healthy way, in a controlled manner at the gun range, instead of going and burning down the damn city because you guys have been soying it up for 5 years and can't handle it anymore. So to me, I just see if they went out and a lawmaker looked at them and said, we are literally going to give every Black person in this country $1 million, and we've created a potion that prevents them from ever dying. There we go. I think they would be mad and still set things on fire, because they'd be like, what the hell? We came here to set things on fire. Great. But we just wanted to set shit on fire.
It's like, oh, we didn't have any guns, but we flew off a few Molotov cocktails. We pushed a dumpster on fire into a freaking gas station. Like we, burned down a fire station or whatever.
Yeah, rioting is fun. Like, I've been in riots, obviously as a neutral journalist, not destroying anything myself, but there is no drug, no alcohol, no nothing that will stimulate the feeling of being amongst people, letting off explosions, destroying a city, like absolute pure chaos around you. Like, it's intoxicating. And I hate to say that because it's obviously a horrific thing for all the people who live in the community, but we have to recognize that to understand where this starts and how it grows. It's not, people try to pretend, oh, we're doing it for a good cause. No, you are intoxicated by something that is harming other people. It's like a lynch mob. You find it intoxicating. And I fear that at some point it will get that bad where it's like we are intoxicated by dragging people and lynching them. That's happened all throughout history. All throughout history, people have done horrific things because they were intoxicated by the chaos.
Yeah, and in your documentary, you go as far back to like the 60s, where and you know, like you mentioned, like a lot of these patterns are repeating themselves. Like there were lots of like riots and looting, and except it was like it seemed actually sort of racist back then. Like there are people in the
the
streets.
Rodney King riots were real bad,
like people actually having signs that say like keep our town white, you know.
But like both ways, you know. It was literally like, get the whitey, we're gonna drag them out. And then people like, keep the black people out, which it reminded me more of like a South Africa dynamic. Where everyone is just kind of, if this is gonna sound really bad, okay, I'm gonna clarify. South Africa, everyone is kind of racist there. But it's almost less racist than here, even though everyone is racist, because they're all like, yep, we all have prejudices and bias. We're all, you know, I've got black friends and white friends. We all hang out. We all love each other, but we're all a bit biased and prejudiced. So they're all just very open about it. Whereas here, there's like this bizarre over, like, people literally
some
are
people
like,
are
I hate myself. Yeah.
I hate some myself people are for very racist and they justify it by being, oh, well, you know, it's CRT, or oh, I'm college educated, so this kind of racism is fine, you know. There's a lot of intellectual like justifications for it.
I have no idea if this is real, but I saw a post in like our relationship advice. Do you know that Reddit page?
No, God, I'm never on Reddit.
Okay, I promise you it'll be so worth it. Go to our relationship advice and do a whole podcast on it. It's people asking for advice, and the situations they get themselves into are so freaking bizarre, and they have no perspective somehow. It'll be a girl like, my boyfriend just threw me down the stairs and beat me and like killed my dad, but I really love him. Do you think, how can we heal our relationship? Like situations where everyone is like, what the hell? Or how is this my fault? Okay, so one I saw was a guy who claimed he was the diversity manager of HR at this giant like corporation. He's like, I manage diversity, like CRT stuff. And my girlfriend and I like to do race play, which is a type of kink. So his girlfriend is black, he's white, and like he calls her the N-word and pretends she's his slave as like a sexual kink thing. And he claims that his neighbor recorded him because he could hear him through the door, and sent the recording to his company and got him fired. And so he's asking, like in the advice on Reddit, like, what do I do? Race play is a kink. You can't hate my kink. Like, I am extremely progressive. And I look at that and I'm like, It reminds me of the male feminists like Jean Gomeshi in Canada, who behind closed doors are like, let me choke you. Like,
oh God.
Even if it's consensual, like there's a bit of overcorrection going on here.
This is so interesting. So here's the R relationship _advice page on Reddit. I threw a low blow at my boyfriend during an argument. I don't know how to fix it.
Okay, wait, there's some that in here that are like way better. There are people that you can just tell by the title. They're like, my husband of 10 years has just transitioned to a woman.
Great. My fellow fat ladies, how do I, 19 years old, feel comfortable enough to have sex with my smoking hot boyfriend? I would say count your lucky stars and girl, get on the elliptical. I don't know. I mean, if he's dating you and he knows you're fat, like
maybe
he's probably into
that.
it. Yeah. I'm tired of being a married single mother. What? I'm tired of being a single mother instead of a married mother, as my husband currently acts like my fifth child. Oh, that's just like, okay, this looks very interesting. This is so interesting. I got home last night. My boyfriend is gone.
Lost him like the dog. Just
These are all people in their 20s. You know what I mean? Like when I was in my 20s, you just fucking.
That's where you make all your mistakes.
This is what people do instead of sending like 5-page emails like back and forth.
My husband, 32, thinks I'm fat with fat oozing out of me. Once you have described your wife as having fat oozing out of her, it's things have
Ours,
gone
oh
real
my
off
God,
the
ours
cliff.
was an arranged marriage. And since our marriage was 9 months ago, we have lived in different countries. Yikes. So we don't have each other, and words are all we have. Before marriage, I told him that I am neither the most attractive person nor the most fit one. Of course, he would always ask about my weight, and I would ignore the question. I did tell him that I am obese and I am not happy about it. I'm 5'5" and I weigh 90 kilos. What is that? I don't know what a kilo is. He is 5'7" and weighs 83 kilos. Of course, he was all accepting and nice at the time. I have always had a body dysmorphia. There's so much wrong with me. Recently, I have discovered that I have PCOD and my heart broke a bit. Oh, PCOD?
Peacock. Peacock.
I have PCOD. What is a... I got... when we slept together...
Is that polycystic ovarian or is that something else? Do I not know what PCOD is?
PCOD.
PCOD. I'm making fun of you and I don't even know what I'm talking
PCOD
about.
pie.
Okay, yeah, polycystic ovarian disease. Yeah.
When we first slept together as a joke, he looked at my rolls in my stomach and gave them a name.
Oh, sorry. I thought the sentence was when we first slept together as a joke.
That's what I thought it said.
Great
Punctuation
joke.
is grammar is everything here. He looked at my rolls in my stomach and gave them a name. He looked at me and called me fat, not in a cruel way, but it still hurt. How do you call someone fat in a non-cruel way? Now he says he can't cuddle with me because I am so warm, and that's probably because of all my fat deposits. It sounds like she's dating like an Uber, almost like autistic, Asperger-y, like math science person.
Yeah.
How do I handle this? I hate myself. Blame myself constantly for being fat and ugly. I am so disgusted by me. I am trying to work out every day, 10,000 steps. I am on a diet. It's hard.
Good for her. But I'm still trying to picture in my head how, yeah, you call someone fat in an endearing way, like, ooh, you're so fat. You're so fat.
My advice
You're
to this
so fat,
girl,
I can't even cuddle you.
yikes. My advice to this girl would be like, I don't know what their religion is, but like, I'd be like, break up, get what Khloe Kardashian would call a revenge body, and then like sort of traipse into his life again, like looking hot as fuck, and then ice cold.
Genius.
Mesh frequency. Thanks for having Lauren Southern on, Chrissy. You ladies are the bestest.
That's right.
Wow, you're bringing out so many simps. I will call it. No, I'm kidding. They're
Simps.
so many great people.
If simps stands for superstar, impressive, menopause.
We have some math people. We have some math people in the chat who figured out what kilos are. 90 kilos is like 200 pounds. Yeah, everybody's saying that's pretty big. That's about 200 pounds. Woof. So she's 5'5" and 200. Yeah. I thought it was going to work out like, I'm so obese. I'm whatever many kilos. And then you look it up and she's like actually 145 pounds. And then I'd have to fucking jump out a window. You know what I mean? Like maybe she's European and she thinks she's really fucking fat, but really she's just like
European. All they eat is cigarettes and vodka. That's it.
Yeah,
cigarettes and coffee.
Just chewing on cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, chat. Yeah, it sounds like he's cheating on her already. Oof. I mean, probably. But why would you do an arranged marriage without copious photos?
People can edit those. But I think, okay, so clearly people can't arrange relationships themselves. They're terrible at that. We've accepted this.
True.
Arranged marriages, this isn't looking so hot either. So there's apparently, I was reading about this within, I think it's Jewish. Correct me if I'm wrong. But within like Jewish, more Hasidic communities, they have like a semi-arranged marriage deal where they will pick the people you go on dates with. So they've like looked at their background, they look okay, but you get the final say.
So it's J-date, basically.
J-date. Yeah, but like the parents will pick them and be like, I like this person, until what you get, and I think this is perfect because you get both sides, you get the parents' approval, so they know that they're probably going to be a steady, stable individual. They've looked into their family background, but also your attraction. Because in every other case, there's this mismatch. If it's just you got like hot into that, they're completely unstable and unhinged, end up with or you just get the parent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just get the parent, which is like, wow, they're really organized.
He's got a great job, but he can't stay hard or something, you know?
Yeah. So you got to get that semi-arranged marriage. The Jews know what's up.
That's interesting. Yeah. Or just so that's why it's also kind of good, like being introduced through a friend. It's so retro, but like
Once the friend
if
has
it's
vetted.
yeah, if it's like if somebody your good friend is recommending to you, I've set up at least now 2 people who've gotten married. So I don't know, might be a second career choice if this doesn't pan out.
Relationship advice. That's what I'm telling you. Do a whole episode. Have
Yeah.
call-ins. Have people call in about the relationship
Yeah,
problems.
that's
That
my
shit
other
is so
show.
funny.
This would be perfect for Wet Spot because I do a show on Compound Media on Mondays. And it's sex, dating, relationship advice. It's like not serious and like respected like this show. It's like we have porn stars, it's comedians, it's like a hot mess. Like literally on Monday, we were I had like 3 porn stars in, and 2 of them were painting this other girl's like boobs. Like it was a jack-o'-lantern contest. Like it was like Jack off a lantern. I don't know. What do we call it? Titaween. I don't know. But each of them were painting one of her boobs. And obviously she has huge implants. So it was like a contest who can paint the best pumpkin. But also, as my friend Peyton Sinclair, she was like the pumpkin girl. And she
Have you
came.
asked them about dating? I feel like dating as a
Who
porn star
like
would be impossible or really difficult.
from what I've gathered from all the ones I've spoken to, it seems like you honestly have to date somebody in the industry, like so a male porn star. So it's like you have that level of understanding, and like you have to be basically okay with an open relationship because that's what it
Like
is.
that's what I was gonna say. Is there such a thing as a porn? I guess you're right. That would be impossible. A porn star who is monogamous.
Yes,
Do
there
they
are.
all
I've seen
have
it.
to be polyamorous?
I have seen it that there are some girls who they actually do porn with their boyfriend or husband, and it's like POV shots where it's just the guy and it's like it's his dick, you know, or like it's his, like you can't tell who it is. Wait. And it's like this, and like the boyfriend is right here, and she's like, "Oh my god," and like nobody knows that it's him.
Okay, so then that's an interesting conversation that I've seen as well. Like it depends on what your level of what you consider cheating is. Because if you were someone, and this is like for me, if you were sending like hot pictures to someone else, that would be cheating to me, right?
Yeah.
So I guess there still would have to
Yeah.
be that level of like a ton of other people can get enjoyment from your naked body that aren't me.
It's so tricky. I feel like I'm constantly learning. Like both my boyfriend and I follow a ton of porn stars because like we're both looking for people to book on the show all the time. So like just today he's like, sometimes I feel bad. I'm scrolling and I see 5 buttholes in a row. And I'm like, this is the biz we're in, you know? From
I will say, oh yeah, go ahead.
From 200-watt studio, I had a girlfriend that had fat oozing out of her, but we just laughed and said it was lubricant and let fun squishy sounds continue. Ew. Yeah, oozing is like not a word that's gonna make me feel horny.
No, they could have just thrown moist in there or something as well. Just,
What were you gonna say?
Huh? I can't remember.
Oh,
That comment threw me way off.
Oh yeah, about like can porn
whack.
stars like have a healthy relationship? I've talked to a lot, which I think have trouble finding that, and I think I've talked to a lot that I think seem to crave like very regular friendships. Like there's this porn star Elsa Jean, and she's like really just she's a regular on my other show now, and she's just taken such a liking to like all of us, like our whole gang. Like she went to like one of the secret comedy shows that they have. She's just like down and hanging, and it's like I love it. And it makes sense because I started to feel better once I started hanging out with people that were not just stand-up comics. It's like, oh yeah, there's a whole world out there.
It's weird, yeah, seeing worlds that are like not your niche and how invested people are in them and all the drama in it. Like I don't know, like there's like literally a hardcore people into like knitting clubs and stuff, and that'll be their whole world and their drama.
And there's a lot of knitting
know nothing
drama
about yours. They'll know
Yeah.
nothing about your world. They won't care, and you think it's the biggest deal in the world. It actually comforts me quite a bit because it reminds me that any drama I have or chaos in my world, like a lot of people, the majority of the world just will never even hear about or know about or care. It's in my weird little vacuum of
For sure. And every
Twitter.
little like internet subgroup has its own drama, and at the end of the day, if you boil it down, it comes down to feelings of jealousy, feelings of competition. Is one person becoming more successful at a faster rate than I think they deserve, or I think their talent should indicate, or, oh my God, they're getting so much successful than me. Like, that's why I feel like I have a lot of people hating on me, because like, I don't know. I think
People just hate hot
yeah.
girls. It's just it's hard. It's
It's
really
just so hard to be hot,
really
even
challenging.
when I haven't washed my hair in like a good 3 days. I have like a knot in the back of my head. Like it's I know I got it in Nashville just from like falling asleep like with my hair down.
Not washing your hair is good for it though.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard.
allegedly. What was I going to say? Tiger King is a good example of this. I love shows that are on like stupid, weird little niches that no one knows about.
Yeah.
And can just like transport you to another chaotic world.
There's so
Love
much
that.
tiger drama. And I'm like, I think if you're a person who's never been to Florida, Tiger King is a good introduction to what it's like. Just like Florida man. Yeah, I'm excited for Tiger King season 2. There's
Are they
something
making
like
another one? Tell me that's true.
I think
Tell me
they
you didn't
are. I
just
think
make it up.
they definitely are working on it. There's definitely like there was like the very beginning of the pandemic was, I think there was such a sweet spot like in that first, I think, month where people were like legitimately afraid. There wasn't, now it's a year and a half and we know there's so many lies. We've caught so many people in lies, but that beginning sweet spot where we could just like go home and like nothing was expected of anyone. All we had to like, I mean, of course, there's plenty of people who still had to like go into work every day. And I mean, before the pots and pans phase started, the banging for the nurses, before that, but like the Tiger King phase, I think was like the sweet spot.
Did you know that there are still people out there who are not leaving their home? I only figured this out the other day because I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and she was saying she'll have people come into her office, she'll do an adjustment for them, and they will not even like having done the adjustment yet, just like put their hands on them, they'll like shiver and almost start crying and be like, "You are the first human I have touched in like almost 2 years. And this is a really emotional experience for me." And she's like, "Well, what?"
Where is
and they're like,
this?
"I have just Vancouver, Canada." She's like, they're like, "I haven't left my apartment in 2 years. I've been ordering Uber. I've been working from home. I have not wanted to get like any reason to leave my house. I've not wanted to get COVID." So they have literally like stopped their life for 2 years, and that exists. I think there's been a few journalism articles on it, and you think about people who are hypochondriacs anyways. If you've ever seen that movie, The Aviator, with Leonardo DiCaprio, where at the end he like is super old and refuses to leave his house and just lives in an apartment and washes their hands until they bleed. Those people would be on like tenfold extreme hypochondriac level right now because of all the news. It would be catastrophic for their life.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend. I mean, she's still alive. Another stand-up comic girlfriend, like this girl Marielle, very much. She was a germaphobe before this, and I just think the pandemic, like, really, it reveals like all the shit you had going on. Like, if you were, somebody who is like very germophobic, or like you really follow a crowd, or it just kind of has exposed whatever's going on with you under the surface, and it's like.
Totally.
And it's allowed the people that like were, I don't know. It's also been great. I think it was a chance for people to kind of rise to the occasion as well. Like, it's so easy for us to talk about, the sheep, the brainwashed, how could they? But there's been a lot of people who this has been the thing put in their path that has helped them like rise to the occasion and fight for others and fight for their families, their neighborhoods. So I don't know. It's always good to be positive.
It's definitely forced people to make tough moves and tough decisions. Oh, I just saw
from John Sokache. We need more Chrissie Mayr and Lauren Southern. Informative and funny. You forgot beautiful. What spot on Compound Media and YouTube?
Yeah, how could you? John, you better comment again and say beautiful. Or you're banned.
You're banned. Booted from chat. YouTube wouldn't like that very much. Thanks, John.
I'm joking.
I'm not. Okay. Okay, here's this other one from, I think, Matthew Hammond. Oh, this is like an actual real question for Lauren. How long did it take for Lauren to get over everything that can kill you in Australia? I am specifically thinking of the giant poisonous spider.
Yeah, I saw a lot of snakes, but you know what actually upset me is I found out like some of the big creatures are actually a lot less dangerous than the small ones. So it was always the unsuspecting one. I remember seeing this really tiny snake out by the gutter, and I was like, "Oh, everyone, come look at it! Look how cute it is!" And they're like, "That's a brown snake. That'll kill you with one bite." Like, Lauren, please stop it.
Wow.
And meanwhile, I'm like jumping on top of those boxes those power boxes, like the green. I don't know. They still,
I
anyways, I
have a
saw a
power
snake
box.
and I jumped on top of it and sat on it for like 20 minutes after seeing a snake, so terrified that it was going to get me. And I talked to my husband after, and he's like, that one literally like has no poison. Or I pick up like a redback spider. No problem. It's tiny. Little do you know, it's going to kill you. It's all these things that are so sneaky. And I have zero awareness for them, apparently. Same with sneaky people in real life. I'm terrible. I have no people reading skills with that. I get screwed over 24/7.
If you like poisonous snakes, the Dallas Zoo has like the most amount of poisonous snakes I've ever seen at a zoo. Like I think I'm really getting into zoos. I don't know if this is a mental illness, but like every city I go to do
Like a
stand
type
up
of
in
autism. It's
or
like,
visit,
I
I
like
have
trains.
yeah, I have zoo autism where like I'll go to a new city with Frank and Frank will be like, "Did you want to go to the zoo?" I'm like, "I do want to go to the zoo." One time in Philly, I think we went to 2 zoos. I don't know, they're like very calming for me. Like I just love animals and
Very therapeutic. I can't wait to see like your home when you're 80 and you've just got
oh,
like the rabbits here, the chickens
and
there,
I'm gonna be
the
like
monkey, the
the
illegal
pet
monkeys.
detective, where he's like, come to me, jungle friends. Okay, Michael Trevino, I've noticed you in the chat here. I feel like you're someone who's been to prison. He says, yeah, try being in solitary confinement for 10 years and then get out of prison, and the first thing you get the first hug, kiss, BJ, etc. Oh, or all of them at the same time if you're lucky, or go to the right gas station.
That would be something
That
else.
would be
Yeah.
hard. That's why I would totally go Orange is the New Black. Like if I had to be in a prison situation, I'd be like, well, time to try my hand at lesbianism. No pun intended.
Funny you say that. I had this chick send me a message on Instagram, and she was like, "You are a horrible, evil bitch. I hate you." Like just losing it at me. In fact, I will read it. I've got it here. "Shut up, you stupid bitch. No one said it is over. You uneducated, ugly conservative. Go back to your racism. I'm laughing at how dumb and poorly spoken you are. Go educate yourself, you bland ass." Anyways, she's
These
just
are
going off.
literally like she's throwing all opposites. Like everything she's saying to you, you are the actual opposite. So I wonder if it's all just like projection.
So I'm not joking. It's been 8 months since she sent me that message. And the last message she sent me today was, "You're giving me serious queer vibes. Don't worry. It's okay to come out. You're in a safe space. X."
She's trying to trigger you. She like wants
She wants me.
This is like the pathetic guy that's like, yeah, they just want a reaction out of you. That like she's trying to like pull on your pigtails. She wants to get something.
The lesbos are in my DMs.
What do I
I'll be just fine in prison.
I need more
Or
lesbians
have a
in my
really bad time.
DMs. I need some things hung up. I need to start working on my lesbian fan base. There are some things around the house that need to be done. I don't know enough lesbians.
Lesbians are a dying breed. They're rare. We need to protect them.
Mhm.
Why? Because because they've all been convinced that they're actually men. So then they like transition to men instead of just being like,
Right.
I'm lesbian.
This is really a lesbian crisis that's going on right now.
So you don't have to turn into a boy. You can just, stay. It's the same thing when, I see people that are like, I've realized that I'm masculine. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can be a masculine woman. To assume because you're masculine, you have to change genders, to me is really sexist. Because it's suggesting that women can't be masculine, or that women can't, have traits like that are strong or enjoy sports, or I can't be a tomboy. Otherwise, I'm actually just a man. Very gender binary.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I grew up at the time I did, because there would have been a time that I could have been convinced to like, you know what I mean? Like I was such a tomboy.
I actually 100% feel that.
I didn't like go through puberty. I didn't get my period until I was like 14. Like I remember my girlfriends in school like shaming me because I didn't have my period yet. Like my one friend would be like, "Chrissy, you have to wear a pad all day, so you know what we have to go through." And I was like, this seems mean.
I was the tallest. I don't know. I just shot up and then I just stayed the same height. So I was like the tallest person in my grade in like grade 5 and 6. And then just stayed that and got progressively shorter. But yeah, I was kind of seen as like this super tall, sporty tomboy who was like super lanky. And totally, I could have just been like, I'm a boy.
Did you play any sports?
I played volleyball. And it
Oh
was,
yeah, you're such a
yeah,
volleyball chick.
yeah, the high ponytail, short shorts, go
Short
me.
shorts, spank bank. And they were like, Lauren, can you get the thing from the high shelf? And you're like, I'm not your shelf grabber.
Yeah, but then it like I said, just went downhill as everyone started getting taller. I went from playing middle to, power to right side, just shorter.
Volleyball looks hard. It looks like a lot of running around.
Yeah, way too much effort. Sports in general. Like I said, just buy a gun. Don't worry about working out. Yeah, there's plenty of chubby chasers, according to our relationship advice.
Sports, I think, are so essential for kids. Like I was a diver. Like I started when I was 11. I was on the
diver
springboard. Yeah, like.
Oh, so like I always wonder about those weird Olympic sports that I'm like, who does that? How
does anyone get into them? Yeah. Especially me, like growing up on Long Island, like the people who are going to be like Olympic divers are usually like on the West Coast or like Midwest. Like, well, the further west you go, obviously the hotter it is year round, or like Florida. So that's more likely the case that you're gonna be like a year-round diver. Plus the facilities out there, it's like you have the platform diving boards, whereas like New York, it's like you just have springboards and it's indoors, and like when it gets cold, like people kind of stop generally. Like you have your summer leagues, but that's where I started. It's just like random oceanside pool. Like I think our pool was next to like a dump. Like we had like a big mosquito problem at the pool, but like we embraced it.
Nice.
Like it was our mascot or whatever. Like we
so
would
you
collect.
had at your pool, you had like a giant diving board that
We had just 1 and 3 meter. It wasn't until I went to a diving camp in Indiana when I was 14 that I ever went off any of the platforms. And those are like 1, 3, 5, 7.5, and 10. And the first day of diving camp, they were like, write down what you're most afraid of. And I was like, the 10 meter. And then they're like, bitch, get up there now. I was like, no. But it's cool. It's a big rush. And then by the end of the camp, I'm doing like handstands off the thing. So
is diving drama spicy? Volleyball was always
my biggest qualm with diving is like the amount of it's like homosexual men or guys who are just so into themselves, like the most vain, shaved, have to be tan, like just peacocky men are all divers. So it's like nobody that I would have like really dated or been into long term, which is probably for the best.
All the diving guys are gay. All the volleyball guys are ambiguous. You're not sure. Like they could be. It could go either way, really.
It's like they're either gay or they're just they're fancy. They're like a little bit like of a dandy, like they're not
dandy.
They're just a little light in the loafers. I hate to use every term my dad would say, but they're just a little like they're a little bit like, okay, they care. It's a sport where you have to be so aware of how you look.
Yeah.
It's not going to attract a certain type of man, but it's probably for the best. Because if I was like crushing on some guy on the team, I wouldn't be as focused. So
it would be interesting being a girl in like, like weights or like, what's that, like shot put?
Oh yeah, shot put. Like yeah,
she probably has a spicy drama.
She probably has like calluses on her neck, like a rough neck. But yeah, there was diving drama. Like yeah, you have like enemies. Like I had enemies on other teams, but they were of course the girls that like we would all like go first, second, third, fourth, like, and we would just mix it up each meet or whatever. I don't know how I got started on this. It's a question. Glad to see Lauren here. How bad do you think it will get since Alec Baldwin is not just the star, but the producer as well? He's responsible for the set.
I always take a minute to consider when someone is rich and powerful, because when people are rich and powerful, they usually can control a lot of factors. So I saw, this is when I knew that the scales may be tipped in a certain direction, was when I saw Candace Owens put out her apology. And I think Candace Owens calling Alec Baldwin a murderer was obviously an incorrect statement, because even so, it would be like accidental manslaughter or whatever, if you want to put it to the extreme. Like it wasn't deliberate, thought out murder. But regardless, Candace Owens isn't usually one to apologize. She says her thoughts and she's like, there you go. You guys take it or leave it. Do what you want with it. And she came out and apologized and said, I actually meant killed, not murder. So that clicked the little thing in my brain that was like, ooh, they have got their lawyers. They've got the whole PR team on this hardcore. They would be messaging every single media outlet saying, you talk about the assistant producer, you talk about the armorer, you do not talk about Alec, you don't say XYZ, you don't blame him, get people in courts, get everyone we know, contact them, lawyers. They would have, all hands on deck on this. So
Right.
in my opinion, if they look at the actual precautions that should have been done on set, Alec would get in trouble for sure. He was supposed to check the gun. It's his production. So many complaints, insane. So I think 100% get in trouble for something. But I'm very careful when the scales are this tipped. You just can't tell what's going to happen. Look at how long Harvey Weinstein got to diddle around with what he did. With
Endless
no
diddling.
repercussions. Yeah, endless diddling.
Constant. He was ABD, always be diddling.
You can diddle whenever and whoever you want if you have enough money. Apparently, that's
Totally.
how it works.
You can
Look at the media.
You could have a whole island dedicated to diddling. You
A
got
diddling island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You look at like Prince Andrew and you wonder, you sit there and I'm like, why the hell are you guys talking about random ass YouTubers no one cares about that have no power and being like, why is this YouTuber saying something that is barely even, offensive? It's
Right.
racist. When you could be talking about the most powerful people on earth diddling kids. And it's like, they could sue me.
Yeah, aren't they? Didn't they all but totally drop? Following up with the Prince Andrew thing. Like everything I've read has been like, yeah, we're kind of let this go.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's exactly it. Once you can afford lawyers to sue a company, it all really tilted the scales after Gawker. So once Gawker was shut down by that lawsuit backed by Teal and who was the guy?
I don't know anything about this.
Okay, anyways, Gawker was shut down by for defamation or slander of a famous public figure. I saw a complete tilt in the media because they realized we need sensational, basically bullshit headlines in order to get clicks, because it's a competition of who can put out the most sensational shit. And the most sensational stuff is going to be fake. So they're like, we need this, but we also need to say it about people who people care about. But apparently when we say it about people who people care about, they're famous and have money and can sue us. So how are we going to fix this problem?
Wow.
YouTube solved it because all of these people with no money could get very famous. And so all of these very famous people with no money now get used as the sensation clickbait.
Sensation bait, yeah.
Nazis, they're everywhere. Mel Gibson can literally say to a camera, Jews are oven dodgers. And, he literally has said that. And they report on him like, oh my goodness, Mel Gibson looked so nice in his suit at the whatever the hell Oscars. And, PewDiePie will or a YouTuber will accidentally say like nigga in a song and it'll be headlines for 2 weeks with an A of this person's a racist and literally the Third Reich is coming up because that person is not going to have Hollywood lawyers.
Yeah, it's for real. It's like, what's his face when was he like a child actor? Isaac Cappy, when he was outing Spielberg and like all these top Hollywood people as being fans of the youthful, as we might say. Yeah,
very creative portrayal.
He then mysteriously died. Fans of the youthful. That's what I'm going to say from now on. From S. Becker, can they describe the one dead guy as a child molester? I don't know what this was about.
Okay, so like that, he's talking about the Rittenhouse shooting, I think.
Oh.
I don't think, because that is not directly relevant to this case, I don't think they're supposed to. So as I was mentioning, like in the George Floyd case, for example, the judge couldn't be like, thief George Floyd, who was shot. Even if it's a legitimate crime that is documented.
Fentanyl enthusiast.
Yeah, fentanyl enthusiast. You can't say something that's not relevant to the case that is going to tip the scales of a case that's different. So like, obviously his crime as a child molester is a separate situation.
He really was, though?
I think they found him on the register anyways. It was like a sex offender register that they found him on.
Yeah. Oh, where are you registered? Toys R Us. That's bad. All right. From Matthew Hammond, who would have thought in 2015 that it would not be blondes or redheads that are going extinct in 2021, but it is lesbians.
We have to protect the lesbian race. We need to create an ethno state for lesbians. It's the only solution.
How are we going to keep women's soccer going?
How are we going to start the LGBTQ sentence? It's going to be GBTQ. That doesn't sound good.
Right.
There's going to be no more L.
The L is always first.
Always.
Let's see. Someone in the chat wanted to get your thoughts on your concerns. Well, you're living in Australia now, but you're from Canada. You've been in Australia.
I'm actually stuck in Canada, so I have been in Australia for like the majority of the year. My butt is stuck here. There are like 0 flights back, and if they do exist, they're like $30,000. So
really,
yeah, we'll see. You know what? I'm hopeful, but at the same time, it has been 2 years of shenanigans. So I stay real. I try to keep it real in my head.
I want to get to this one really quick from Torgo the White. Andrew Branca did a legal analysis of the Baldwin situation. He lays out pretty clearly under NM, it's B, felony involuntary manslaughter easily.
It's B. It do be felony. I would love to see a judge like that. It do be felony involuntary manslaughter.
I think that would be a cool judge. Yeah. Like, let's have a dance break.
If you've ever been in a courtroom, there's like the best moments are when a judge or a lawyer has to read out Twitter posts. I remember being at one in 2015, and it was like @_penis 555
penis
says,
for you.
You do be a fat bitch _ smiley face emoticon. And you're sitting there like watching this like 70-year-old dude that's super official read out this Twitter war.
Oh, that's funny.
Incredible.
Like, can you explain why you had 3 laugh emojis?
Yeah, what is the insinuation of these laugh emojis?
So what is your plan? Do you want to get back to Australia? What's the worst thing about living in Canada right now?
Honestly, I'm keeping Canada. It's crazy because normally I'd be like, oh yeah, we're communists in Canada. You know, that was always the joke. America's hat. We keep a wall between them because you're so left wing up in Canada. It feels so free here compared to Australia. So free.
Right.
Obviously, I want to be able to return to Australia. My family is there, although I have family in Canada too. But it's all a matter of the way the world goes, and I'm trying not to dwell on it. Yeah. I shoot and drink. Keep the time.
That seems like a good plan. You're just keeping your skills up.
Working a lot, keeping the skills up. What's your plan? What's your life plan?
My plan.
What do you want to do with? Where do you see yourself in 50 years?
50? 50? Let's see. I'll be like 80 something. So hopefully still alive. I want to definitely have in the next 50 years, like get a sick pack. I think.
Bro, are you pregnant?
No. Why?
Why did I see that you were pregnant on the internet?
You did? Where did you see it?
Did someone else say they were pregnant? Oh, Bridget Fedesy said she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like another comedian that.
Oh, yeah. I just saw that she was. And then also like Ashley St. Clair.
Everyone's pregnant. Everyone's be having babies.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out too.
Out you? Are you pregnant?
No. I mean, I'm so flattered.
Your boobs are looking huge, girl.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta figure that out pretty soon. Like, I don't have a ton of time to figure that out. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I just, before you like, all right, I don't want to like wait so long that it's like, okay, my kid's gonna be retarded or have a tail,
sure, if you wait like 20 years, I keep referencing movies that you haven't watched, so maybe I'll get a hit here. Have you ever seen The Island with Scarlett Johansson?
No.
Okay, so the plot line is celebrities and rich people pay to have body clones made of themselves, but they're like real sentient people, and they use those body clones to like get organs to harvest for when they're sick or to have babies for them. And the body clones think they're like living it up. And whenever one of them wins the lottery and gets to go have a wonderful life, they're actually being killed for organs. But anyways, I'm sure in 20 years we'll have this island situation and you can just like build a baby with some 20-year-old clone of yourself that you kill after.
I feel like that's what they're doing with Joe Biden. I feel like he's got clones. I feel like there's like a garage somewhere, like full of just Joe Biden clones, and then they just like call up a fresh one every time, one sort of short circuits.
Well, they're all kind of short-circuiting, so they really
Mhm.
got to fix that algorithm, whatever they're working with at the moment.
Yeah, people seem to think that they're waiting to a certain point in his presidency before Kamala can take over. That way she can run again another full, I guess,
bet 2
couple of
years.
terms. Ugh.
We'll see. We
Yeah.
shall see.
I feel like it's been 2 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah. It bothers me the way people are talking about this Kyle Rittenhouse thing because you see people on Twitter that are like, he's, of course these people are victims. They were shot. And it's like, but in the same breath, these people would never refer to Ashley Babbitt as a victim. And she was shot by someone. So
Hitler was such a victim.
he really was.
He really was.
He really was.
The Nazis were big victims. They got
he kept
shot.
getting art shamed. People didn't appreciate his artwork.
I'm trying to think of more bad people that got shot. But my only frame of reference is World War II because I grew up as a millennial. So that's all they taught us in school. I know nothing else of history. There was no other historical event except for World War II.
That's a big one. That is definitely a big one. I'm just going to comb through, make sure I didn't miss any super chats.
I do have to leave in a second, unfortunately.
Okay, no, that's perfect. We are winding down. Lauren, what are you working on now? What are you excited about? Where can you send people so that they can keep up with you?
I am working on a new documentary. I can't tell anyone yet.
Oh, secrets.
Shh. But you can find all my updates at Lauren_Southern on Twitter, laurensouthern.net, or Instagram, all that fun stuff, pretty much under the same username. But not actually, but that's fine. You'll find it.
Awesome, guys. And by the way, if you're single, go to Drom.Date/CMP. Put it in your phone's browser. Click the iOS button or Google to install. Use the invite code CMP to sign up. It's values-based matching. You pick your deal breakers and deal makers. Pretty cool. I feel like you could meet your conservative bae on here if you are single and that's what you're looking for. If you're watching this, I'm guessing that's where you land. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. So great to see you again and chat with you. You're just smart as hell and pretty.
I do try.
All the things that I want to be when I grow up. Thank you, chat, for your questions and super chats. Until next time. Bye.